And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hello, Tampa Bay, and welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm not Brandon Rhymes. My name is James DeJerome. I'm the executive producer of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Your starting quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, is out today, so you've got your backup in here. And like any good backup quarterback, I'm going to put the clipboard down and lean on my teammates. We've got a great team here. Jose, our engineer on the board back there, keeping us sound and correct, all you listeners on AM 1380. And of course, you WeBeam TV viewers are familiar with Rob's work. Rob is our tech from WeBeam, who keeps us streaming worldwide. In addition, I've got some great partners that are going to help us out. We're going to start the show today with one of our friends from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Listeners of the program are familiar with Rob Higgins, the director. We've got Claire Lessinger. She's also with Tampa Bay Sports Commission, and we've got some exciting things on the horizon as far as events coming to the Bay Area. Claire, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit. I'm familiar again with Rob, and our listeners know about the Tampa Bay Sports Commission and a lot of the work you guys do. How long have you guys been doing this?
Oh, Lord. I mean, the Sports Commission's been in operation for many years, and Rob's been spearheading the effort. I believe he's been here for about 15-plus years. I've been in my position as Director of Special Events for the last 6. So we're in-house with Visit Tampa Bay, our Convention and Visitors Bureau, and on the Sports Commission side, you know, our mission is to bring world-class sporting events to our community, but also focus heavily on our youth amateur market and making sure that we're marketing our destination, but bringing all the sporting events here that are perfect fits.
So tell me about that. I didn't think of that before. I just thought everyone out there is bidding, trying to get the best, most popular events to their communities. You guys are actually targeting. What is our goal in terms of what events fit best for the Bay Area?
Well, you know, it starts with an RFP process. So, you know, these event organizers that are looking for homes or have their events rotating on a geographic basis, there's certain specs we clearly need to meet. Starts with the venue, hotel inventory, special event venues. So what part of our job is weeding through that RFP and making sure that we can hit on all of those prerequisites, but then also packaging that RFP and our bid process with enhancements and things that we think our destination can do better than anyone else's.
Sure.
So there's most every event, you know, you've seen there. We've hosted everything from Super Bowl on down, and so you know that's what we're always looking for is new opportunities, and we're as good as our venues and our assets in our community.
Absolutely. So we keep developing the Bay Area itself. That's helping you guys in terms of new things to sell out there, new things that people may not be familiar with the Tampa Bay area. But then I thought, with the growth of women's athletics and you being so familiar with women's athletics, the Bay Area also trying to be a pioneer in bringing some of those events here and bringing more eyes on those events.
Absolutely. Yes, and it's a great segue because we are bringing the Women's Final Four back to the Bay Area for a third time. We'll be hosting April 5th and 7th at Amalie Arena, the Women's Final Four, and it's a tribute to the hosting efforts and what our destination provides as a backdrop for this event, but also the community of women and the coming together of women supporting women in our community that has helped us be great hosts in support of this premier women's championship.
Yeah, I think that the rise of women's athletics in general, of course, getting more attention. And then specifically in the Bay, we've got a nice little youth athletic group coming up. You know, we do a great job in the community outreach as far as athletes I know that are out there in the community trying to get the youth involved. You guys do a bunch of stuff in addition to bringing events to us. You're also doing community events. I don't know. I don't mean to throw you a curveball, but the wine women it's the sneaker soiree.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. The sneaker soiree is, one of our signature events that we host. here, and it's a community event. It really is a red carpet celebration of sports business, with all of our sports entities and our franchises and our key community partners. But yeah, we've also used and leveraged that platform to celebrate women. We've also launched legacy initiatives that are specific to women and celebrating women of influence and women in sports. Our Beyond the Baseline series, which we launched 10 years ago alongside the 2008 Women's Final Four, is now coming home. It's a series of women's empowerment events that the NCAA actually took with them after our 2015 hosting efforts. They've trademarked it, and it's actually programming that lives within their championship now, but also programming that has continued to live on in our community since its inception. So it's a big focus of ours, and also a community that has just been tremendously supportive of what we do.
Claire, if we've got listeners out there who think this is a great thing and want to get involved, is there a way that they can volunteer to assist in some of these events when they come to our community?
Oh, absolutely. Our volunteer program and the need for volunteers is really the lifeblood to the success of these major events. So you can log on to our website, which is WFFTampaBay.com. Okay. That's our landing page for the Women's Final Four. And there's a tab for volunteer outreach. And we have, at this point in time, 1,500 shifts to fill. But those interested volunteers will also go into a database that will be provided other opportunities through our organizations as we gear up to host Super Bowls, etc. So no, we can't thank our volunteers and our community of volunteers enough. They really, really help us put the first and right foot forward in our hosting efforts. Yeah,
I didn't necessarily think of that as the first step in hosting, but you've got to have bodies, feet on the ground doing a lot of work. A lot of the legwork has to be done.
Absolutely. And from a customer service standpoint, often they're the first people, fans encounter with. So there's a lot of effort that goes into not only training them, but getting the right people on board that allow us to roll out the red carpet and create a really warm welcome to the guests that are coming to our community.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Claire, just as an aside, because of your background as an athlete and as a coach, how do you see any parallels between your position now working over there with Rob at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission and the team aspects and kind of things that you had as an athlete and coach in your career?
I do, and I think every day I can draw probably more parallels than my first day on the job. But, when I first met with Rob and onboarded here at the Sports Commission, the tagline here is game day every day, and nothing resonated more with me as a former student athlete and a coach than that mentality. And that really is our mentality. But then to have the opportunity to work alongside and help host these national championships, understanding, and have been in the shoes of coaches and student athletes, there's nothing more rewarding than helping be a part of a team that's rolling out that red carpet, elevating the student athlete experience, making sure that this championship is the best they've ever been a part of. So, no, there's a lot of synergies and a lot that I can relate to, and I feel like I'm kind of in that locker room environment every day getting ready for the big game.
Well, what a great move by Rob, because you yourself attended Final Fours as an athlete, so you know what the feeling was and the vibe around the whole thing. If anyone can speak to how it should be or the energy and the excitement that we need to create, certainly you'd have an inside look at that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I think, again, I have the ability to relate in some way, shape, or form. All the games and the athletes and the level has all changed since I played, since my playing days. But no, that feeling and being a part of that Final Four experience does help me understand the perspective and the shoes that everyone's in. And then also just being a part of an incredible team here at the Sports Commission and Visit Tampa Bay, and this community in general is just raising the bar, elevating the game here, and making sure that we can leave our mark from a memory standpoint. And that these student athletes, these coaches, these fans are walking away saying that's the best championship we've ever been to. Right.
I'm sure it will be. And you guys do such a great job. Just your background, again, we talked a little bit about you as an athlete and as a coach. What do you see I'm just interested in your perspective looking at women's athletics today versus just a decade ago? What changes have you seen, or what do you predict? I want to get your feel for what you see coming in the future for women's athletics.
Yeah, sure. I think, tons of growth. It's probably the best way to summarize it. I mean, we still have a lot of glass ceilings, I think, to break. But when I look at women's athletics today, clearly the TV exposure that women's sports is getting, especially at the collegiate level, especially in the game that I played, volleyball, has just had an incredible impact on grassroots and getting girls to play the game more at younger ages.
Do women also get level? Do you see women developing those sports clinics. I see when I was in athletics, a lot of people, I was amazed at the ages that they start their kids in these specialized athletic programs, with a private tutor. Do you see women's athletes doing that same kind of thing? Is there academies out there?
Absolutely. Yep. A lot of personal private training happening at very young ages. A lot of the club, the competitive club organizations are just that. They're super competitive, so people are investing in their child's development so that they can be given those opportunities at younger ages. Mm-hmm. I was one of those 3-sport athletes all the way through my senior year of high school. You don't see those existing much anymore.
Yeah, it seems like when we were kids, everyone did everything.
Right. Absolutely. And, I have mixed emotions on all of that, but it is the way that it's trending. And I think a lot of it has to do, too, is the level at which the game's being played today. I'm not just speaking of volleyball. I'm speaking of, all women's sports. It's a totally different game today. Our sport in general, volleyball, is being played at such a higher level. It's so much more physical. The average height of the players is unreal. I would be tiny and short today in the game, and that's translating across, all sports. And then a lot of it has to do with specialization and girls and kids playing sports at such early ages, but also developing those fine-tuned skills earlier.
Yeah, I think as we see the growth of women's athletics, we're going to see the money start to come in and the economies will change and everything. So I'm excited about the future of that kind of thing. Once again, just tell me a little bit about the dates on the Women's Final Four, how people can get tickets, and how to get involved if they want to.
Yeah, sure. It's April 5th and 7th. It will be at Amalie Arena. I think what makes this championship really unique is it's way more than 3 games. There's something for everyone, not just the women's basketball enthusiast. It'll be a weekend of events and free, family-friendly events, all within a walkable, convenient footprint in downtown Tampa. You can log on to ncaa.com, Women's Final Four, for tickets and special event information, and log on to wfftampabay.com for community, destination, and social impact initiatives. And again, big shout out to any volunteers. We are in a very active outreach phase right now, so highly encourage those listeners to join us and be a part of our hosting efforts.
What a great experience for them as well, to see behind the scenes and get to know a little bit more about how this thing works and make some contacts. It seems like a good opportunity for everybody.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. And, to win an event back 3 times, clearly Tampa's doing something right. So we encourage everyone to jump on board and help us raise the bar once again.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Claire. That was some great information. I hope the folks in the Bay are paying attention because we want to have that thing come off real well, and I'm sure it will. Thanks again, Claire.
Thank you.
That was Claire Lessinger from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. She, of course, has a background here as a University of South Florida coach. She was a great athlete herself in the volleyball world at the University of Florida. And so that's what Rob has done over there at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, is assembled a group of people who know what it's supposed to look like. And that way they can bring those events to our area. And I'm looking forward to just everything that Rob's doing. We got so many big events on the horizon. Consumer Quarterback Show, providing that information for you, letting you know about events coming up in your area. When I come back, we've got your girl Pauline is in the house, so we're going to find out what's coming up and what's going on with her. Stay tuned. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your backup quarterback, James DeJerome. Producer on the show, Brandon's out today. We've just had a little conversation about the upcoming event, the Women's Final Fours headed to the Bay Area. We spoke with Claire Lessinger of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Now we're going to find out what's going on locally, because from catering to cocktails to new hotspots and networking, it's your girl, Paulina.
Hey, hello,
Paulina.
friends.
What's going on today,
It's
Paulina?
your girl, Paulina, here today. I'm so happy to be here again. And by the way, you're not second best, James.
Well, I hear you. We maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick, perhaps? We got controversy started?
Whoa.
No.
Wow.
Tell me.
So let's see. We are just getting off the high of that amazing event we had with the speed networking. I can't
Now, is that your
brag about
idea,
it.
the speed networking thing? Or have you been to that before? Or how did you know that?
I have attended. So I am obsessed with networking because it's grown my business so much that I've attended networking in so many different formats, and it's just fun. It's different.
So the speed thing is kind of different because it's energy, a little more energy to it.
Totally. Yeah. And you get to go to the next table, meet somebody else. And you're also kind of made to be following directions. When people just get in a room all willy-nilly and they don't have a plan, typically they gravitate towards the bar and they don't get any business done.
Right.
And then, it just goes downhill from there.
So the structure keeps it moving along.
Yes. And the fact that DJ Ian was talking in the mic, telling you exactly what to do, it was just
That's
perfect.
producing, I think, Paulina. It turns out you're quite a producer.
It turns out I am.
Okay.
And it's I always knew that because I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting and I was the producer for our final project. And I thought there's something there. But it went to a whole different level of throwing events that will strategically grow your business.
Okay.
And so with that, we're getting ready for our BYOB party, which is Be Your Own Brand.
Tell me about this.
So, nowadays, you have to kind of bring your own marketing game to anything you do. You have to be the expert in that field. You have to be authentic, talk about it online, maybe be on a radio show just like this, where you can really offer some expert advice. So that's really important to be able to do that. And a lot of people are getting stuck. They can't do it.
I think it differentiates you. It's an easy way to put people at ease. They get to see who you are and get to find out a little more about you. I find that even for me, I'm a little more intimidated. A new platform comes out. I mean, it's not new anymore, but it went from Snapchat to Instagram or whatever it might be, the next generation. So when the next thing comes out, I'm reluctant to make that leap. The older I get, the less comfortable I am trying a new app and moving all my stuff over there.
Why do you think that is, though?
I'm just I'm not great at learning. As I gotten older, I'm a little more rigid about learning.
But the apps are getting easier and easier. So what you guys should do is just dive right in. Fear is just a word. It doesn't even mean a thing. So just get over it.
And tell me, you don't have to have professional studio content. You know what I mean? People worry that they don't have anything to put. What are people going to come learn about me? Why would they come to my Facebook or my Instagram or my Snapchat? Well, you can provide some information about who you are just by doing some simple content creation.
Right. And there's so many different ways you could do that. And even I noticed that with our partners from the show here.
Right.
Not only are they on the show, but then they also do little stories on Instagram just to keep you updated on what's going on. And they've learned a really good format from being on the show.
Right. So you're creating a bigger footprint for yourself, number one. Number two is you're putting other folks at ease. They're getting to know who you are.
Yeah.
Just like we talk about on the show, branding and expanding your footprint a little bit. People who come to know who you are may not need your service immediately, but now you've made an impression and they'll double back, or maybe a few months from now when that need arises, you're the person in their memory. So there's a value to this kind of thing that maybe goes on, people think it's new and it's just for the kids, but it's simply a way to market yourself and keep your business on the front page.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to go and try it this year, just remember, like, I think sometimes people are like, well, why would people want to listen to me? Who am I? Like, believe me, somebody's going to be watching.
Right.
And each day you're going to get a new follow or a new referral. And it'll just be like connecting the dots, just like in real life networking. We're just doing it online through videos. So
you talked about speed networking, and we talk about the rise of social media marketing and content creation. What else do you see out there? I mean, what are business owners, what do they lack when they on their site, or what are they missing in terms of they could spice it up with something, more content?
More content. Well, I think that if you want to do, maybe take those two different ideas, like live networking, and then also put those events on social media, it also creates the opportunity to do a lot of cross posting. So, I mean, at our last event, I met so many new people. As we were posting pictures, everyone started tagging themselves, and it forced more people to kind of get to know each other. So what's missing for business owners is thinking that events wouldn't help grow your business. Gotcha. With a really strategic plan, you can do it. And, whether it's speed networking, maybe it's just a little employee appreciation. Even if you just have a little timeline of what you want to happen at each point and just guide your guests along, everyone will follow. Really, people don't realize how much we love direction, because then we feel like we're succeeding, we're progressing to the next thing.
Okay, so that kind of ties in with your other avenue, which is Amici's Catering, and Amici's having events and things going on as the year opens. First of all, how was New Year's?
New Year's was amazing. We actually had 9 events on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
And we had to rent out a couple of extra trucks, but really the team was so prepared. They prepare 6 to 8 weeks out for everything. And so we were able to get it done. It was really good and delicious. And so for the events you guys have coming up right now, it's heavy engagement season. I'm sure you're seeing it all over social media, right? Everyone's getting engaged. You're like, damn, there goes my ex-boyfriend. But everyone's getting engaged. So we offer monthly tastings. They're actually called Date Night at Amici's every second Thursday of every month. All you have to do is call an RSVP. And the only thing you have to have locked in place before you call us is your venue, whether it's your private residence, a venue in the area, or I don't know, maybe a boat. We can definitely cater on a boat.
I see what you're angling there. Hey,
see? Yeah.
I was going to say that the team building side too, right? The office, you bring them in, you treat your office staff, your folks, that you create a little good morale.
Food just brings everybody together always. It's like the best, easiest way. And, you can buy people's love with food.
So have you guys ever done an event you come to the business that was a surprise for the business staff? I know the owner said, I want to set up a little party for them and not let them know what was going on. Yeah,
actually. And it was a themed event. It was a Hawaiian theme. Actually, it's on our social media because I'm not allowed to say the company name, but they're really huge in the area. It was 1,200 employees, and it was an employee appreciation kickoff. And every day for the whole week, they did something nice for them.
So if you're a business owner out there, it may not be something, the price ranges vary, right? So it doesn't have to be something that's super extravagant. But the idea is you kind of surprise your staff with something that lets you know that you're thinking about them, and it gives a little opportunity for team building.
That's right.
It grows your brand a little bit and creates a good morale around the office.
It allows you to be the office hero.
And you guys can create just about any meal over there.
Absolutely. Breakfast, hot lunch, cold lunch. We do it in action stations where the chef comes and cooks for you. It's a lot of fun. Of course, plated and buffet.
So they've grown quite a bit over there as well.
35 years this year.
Wow.
And the owner just loves it still. Like, I swear, he's always like washing trucks every time I pop in. Like, he just loves it, and it shows. And that's what brings me to this whole thing. I didn't even plan this, how well this all went together. Okay, I swear. But I wanted to talk about how to be the perfect host or hostess. Okay. Which applies to your home party or your business party.
Right.
To be like a good person, okay, this is just my theory, so could be wrong, but you just need to have good communication and make everyone feel welcome, because it's all about how you make people feel all the time, right?
Put them at ease, right?
Right. So like the first thing you always do, you always smile big. You're like, hello, and now we're all good. We're all friends. Everything's good and ready to go. But first of all, to have a good, efficient party, whether it's for home or your office, you should start planning 6 to 8 weeks out.
Okay.
Right. So how do you usually guys get in invitations? Do you get an email, Facebook?
Primarily over the web now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you get one in the mail, it's usually just for weddings nowadays, right?
Right.
And those usually get really fancy and nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool item to DIY on if you like to be crafty.
Look at that.
Now there's apps even you can get, like some bigger concerts. They have a whole app and they'll schedule and a map too, which I personally love. I don't know about me in car garages. It just gets crazy sometimes. Well, also you're planning for your party, business or home, DIY. My stance on that is just nah.
Okay.
Just do minimal work for your event. Okay. So decorations, do that, and your invitations. Let everybody else handle the catering, the drinking. I mean, the cocktails and everything else.
Because you definitely have to handle the drinking.
For sure. And well, last but not least, for any event, what will your guests remember? Right. And does that match you? So that's a keg stand versus a dessert Jello shots with whipped cream.
Right. Custom. I like it.
Classy.
So for everyone out there, that's your girl, Paulina. She's got all kinds of advice about networking, hot spots, and of course, she's with the Michis. So anytime you've got an event coming up or you want to create some team building at your office, definitely keep them in mind. So Paulina, anything else you want to add before we close the segment here?
I would just encourage you guys to keep asking me all the questions on Your Girl Paulina, on my Facebook and Instagram, and of course for delicious food for all my foodies on Michie'sCatering.com.
That's the idea. So just keep communicating, keep everything on our website, and you'll find Paulina there and all the stuff that she's talking about, all the upcoming events. We definitely want you to take part. So stay with us. When we come back, I've got an interesting gentleman here. He's going to tell you a little bit about how you can help our environment and do things positive in the community. Don't go anywhere. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Again, it's James DeJerome in for Brandon today. As your backup quarterback, I'm trying to use my teammates as best I can. Again, thanks to Jose back there on the buttons and Rob, of course, over at WeBeam. We've had a little conversation with Claire Lessinger from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission about the upcoming Women's Final Four, which is coming to our area. And then your girl Paulina stopped by and let us know a bunch of things about upcoming events and, of course, some of her magic in the marketing world. But I've got a gentleman here that I thought was very interesting. I wanted to bring on the air and let you hear a little bit about his story. His name is Jason Vorie. He is the founder of Just Move Outreach Program. Is that right, Jason?
That's correct.
Okay, so tell me, how long has Just Move Outreach Program been around?
So I started the program in January of 2017. So we're coming up on 2 years right now.
Okay. So your backstory is very interesting, but generally this was a way for you to give back or to to create some positive energy. Is that right?
That's correct. For about 21 years, I used to be, really deep into alcohol and drugs, and it kind of had overtaken my life. And everywhere I went, I lived in Hollywood, LA. I lived in Europe for 5 years. I've lived in Texas, grew up in New York, but, everywhere I went, there I was.
Right.
So January, as I mentioned, 2017, I got sober and I quit corporate America and I started this Just Move Outreach Program.
So I'm excited about the idea that you come to it yourself. You just finally decided, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna make a change.
Yeah. Basically, I was tired of being tired.
Right.
I was very functional. I worked in corporate Europe. I worked out of London and China. I've been to 17 different countries, but as they say, I always had a monkey on my back.
Okay. So this, however, is a fulfilling kind of a thing. This Operation K-Cup, which is part of your Just Move Outreach Program, has an environmental impact. It has a social impact on folks, right? And it's also geared towards helping them with a recovery.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It encompasses pretty much all of that.
Okay. So just as an aside, because we have such an interest in helping consumers and being an advocate out there on the show, tell me about Operation K-Cup in terms of the plastics and what's going on there.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, as you can see, I've got these tote bags here with Operation K-Cup on the bottom and Just Move. That's actually my hand. And and what I do is I place these bags in residential homes and businesses that use the Keurig K-Cup coffee machine. And what they do is they discard the plastic pods into the recyclable tote. And then twice a week, I have 2 drop locations, Tuesday night at the American Running Company and Wednesday night at Woodgate Park, both right there on Countryside and Belcher.
Now, I'm not a big coffee drinker, so I had to ask, tell me a little bit about this issue. I didn't realize how large the volume of material is. Tell me again.
Yes, yeah, it's quite shocking actually. So we discard around 10.5 billion K-cups per that's billion K-cups per year, and that will wrap around planet Earth 10.5 times per year. So if you can imagine the volume that the plastic is taking up in our landfills.
Sure.
And that actually boils into a chemical problem getting into our drinking water.
So not only are we not taking advantage of what we could, because you found a way to take this material and do something positive with it. So instead of having to just create toxic environment and damage the environment sitting out there in a landfill, tell me what you can do with that stuff.
For about 6 months, I just recycled the pods myself, and I kept thinking, what can I do with this plastic and these coffee grounds? So I just took the initiative upon myself and did some research. And what I had found out is with the coffee grounds, once you dry them, you can place them into organic soap. So what I did is I used a base of goat's milk soap, melted it down as a pure base, and then I dry the coffee grounds. And when you rub caffeine onto your skin, it opens up the topical vascular system. So it hides things like cellulite. It provides relief from eczema, psoriasis, dry skin. And what I do is I infuse the soap with essential oils. So I don't know if a lot of people might be not familiar with the essential oil game, but just peppermint in the morning when you're taking your shower, the aroma from it opens up your brain functionality and allows you to have a clearer, more articulate version of your day, if you will. Not alone the other benefits of things like myrrh and frankincense and lavender. So what I do is I use a pure plant-based essential oil, and then I shoot it with a moisturizer. So I shoot it with like a pure almond oil or an aloe for moisturizer. So you're getting the three main things when you take a bath. You're getting your moisturizer, you're getting your exfoliation, and obviously you're getting the cleanliness. So it's pretty exciting.
So instead of polluting the environment and creating issues for everyone's health, you actually spun this thing into something really positive. So that was what impressed me most about your story initially when we were having our conversation. The outreach side, how it fits in is that folks can find a task or a useful way to direct some energy. Is that what's going on?
Yes. So eventually I will be turning the plastic side, just to drop back to the cups real quick. The plastic side will eventually be shredded. I found a process that they were using out in Russia that shreds the plastic, and then they put it through a ceramic heater. So not only will I be recycling the cups, I will be recycling all plastic. And I'll shred it down. And once I shred it, I run it through a ceramic heater. And then there's a high pressure hydraulic, press that will press tile out of the used plastic. And I can make all sorts of colors, shapes, and sizes for construction tile.
And the stuff's very strong.
Yeah, it's actually twice the density of your standard tile.
So if you can imagine that, we always hear this terrible story about the island of plastic floating around in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. If you just think of that as money, everyone would go out there and get that, wouldn't they?
And they are. In other countries, it's shocking, like the Philippines and a lot of these Asian countries, they recycle everything that's plastic, and they just shred it down and they mold it. They use it for different home construction materials. And it's a very simple process, and it just eliminates the fact of them not only clogging up our landfills, but also contaminating our drinking water with BPAs and plastic number 7s.
Yeah, when I hear those stories, every day you read some story about a spill or a plastic they found or some other environmental issue, you feel like, how can I, you feel lost sometimes, like you can't help. It's too big an issue. It's so massive. What is my impact going to be? Taking the first step. That's the key, isn't it? Once you take that first step, you feel like you're making a positive change, then things will start to get in line a little bit. Talk about some of the folks that have come into the program that you've seen kind of get with it and feel better about, about themselves as a result.
Yeah. Well, real quickly, I can just touch on Nielsen Media. So one of my drop zones, as I had mentioned, is American Running Company over there on Countryside in Belcher. And these two young twin ladies, hey, Karen and Sharon, but they decided to step in and place my totes in all the break rooms at Nielsen Media. Okay. So now they are not only marketing my soaps and the products that I produce, but they're also getting the entire company involved in recycling these K-Pods, because they go through about,
can you imagine?
About 3,000 a week.
Yeah.
So and that's just Nielsen Media, and I'm only in about 7 break rooms out of 20. Wow. So it's incredible.
So if you're a business owner out there and you want to take a step towards cleaning up the environment and making yourself feel better about the impact and the carbon footprint you're leaving, let's get to Jason. Now, how did they get in touch with you, Jason?
So my email is justmovej. So it's justmovejay@gmail.com. I have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/justmove. And you can also check out my Wix website, which has all the information about Operation K-Cup, which is just Jason, M as in Michael, V as in Victor, ORIE.wixsite.com.
So Jason, tell me, you'll get people that are interested both in the environmental aspect of assisting you, but also the recovery side. So do they work together? It's a team kind of a thing?
Yes. Well, originally when I had stepped into sobriety, January 22nd, 2017, my overall goal was to provide relief to children who were coming from abused or abandoned homes. And so originally I started making some t-shirts and selling the t-shirts and using the profits to go towards these homes like the Joshua House up in Tampa. And then I moved into Operation K-Cup. But now I've taken another step to the recovery community. And every Wednesday night at Woodgate Park on Belcher and Countryside, it's 2495 Countryside Boulevard. Starting at 6 p.m., I'm going to start a recovery camp. So now what this is going to entail, me personally, I used to weigh 206 pounds. So I just lost about 57 pounds. Wow. And I'll be running my first marathon this year.
How about that?
So I truly believe that physical fitness can replace an alcohol addiction. The scientific background behind it through dopamine and serotonin, and the receptors are all basically linked from the same social construct. Mm-hmm. And what I did is that I had a problem with alcohol. Not everyone has a problem with alcohol, but I do. And so for others who are out there, which I believe there's quite a bit that struggle with addiction, they can come out, they can get exercise. And what I call it is the addiction shifting process. No one ever loses your addictions. Your addictions are with you forever. And it's just a matter of which ones you pick and choose that benefit your life and your higher purpose.
That's right.
And a lot of times people pick addictions that don't benefit their higher purpose. And unfortunately for a person like myself, I picked an addiction that completely ruined my life and stole my soul away, basically.
So make sure that you're aware that there's opportunities out there for help. There's opportunities to get involved environmentally, and really just see where you stand. You know, you don't know exactly how you'll feel about helping out until you get out there and do it. And then you'll realize that there's some benefit to it and you feel a lot better about yourself. That was Jason Vorie. Again, he's the founder of Just Move Outreach Program, and we had a little discussion there about Operation K-Cup. And his information, again, Jace, just real quick.
Wednesday nights starting at 6 p.m. at Woodgate Park, 2495 Countryside Boulevard. That's 6 p.m. That's a free boot camp called Just Move Recovery Camp. You can also find me on Facebook.
Great. Thanks so much again. That was Jason Vorie. Stay with us. We're going to come right back and give you some positive news. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. House.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Yes, welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show. My name is James DeJerome. I'm the executive producer here of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Your starting quarterback, Brandon, is out today, but I've jumped in here and I've got some great teammates to lean on. We've heard from Paulina in terms of events coming up and everything, but we started the show with Claire Lessinger from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, and then Jason Vorie came and told us a little bit about Just Move Outreach program, and that's the kind of positive stuff we do on the program every day. And in addition to that, Brandon is real big on injecting some positivity into the program, and we're going to do that right now with a little story I have about a man who woke up after being declared brain dead. So in Nebraska, it turns out a Nebraska man's children said their final goodbyes and made the difficult decision to pull the plug after their father was declared brain dead by doctors. But the miracle man had different plans. After being unconscious for more than 48 hours, Scott Marr unexpectedly woke up after his doctors thought there was no hope of recovery and his breathing tubes were pulled out. The whole thing has been a miracle from God, Marr told KMTV. I did not die. I did not have to die. I'm back here, and I hope to give people some comfort and hope that if they are in fact going through anything like that, can be a safe place. So in the 2 days Marr was unconscious, he said he had a near-death experience. He saw his late father walking along the street. He said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm looking to work." And he said, "There's no work here. You better get your butt home." Marr told local reporters. Marr is currently recovering at home after weeks of therapy in Omaha Hospital. "I'm not an extremely religious person. I don't go to church every Sunday," Marr told the World Herald, "but I do believe in God. I believe with all my heart. And now this is just proof for me that everything I've ever heard is true, that he loves me and that he's right there for me. It was pretty much a miracle." So you can imagine what it's like to see your father in the hospital and think he's going to die, and then his eyes open and he wakes right up. So that idea that there's something more out there, I'm sure that inspired these folks. And again, that's the whole idea of the show. We want you to start considering acting kind and random acts of kindness, as Brandon always talks about. But mostly we want to consider each other. Just don't consider each other and do the right thing. That's the basic idea, I think. But that's a positive story for everyone to take for you this day. Don't let the media divide us and all the stuff out there that's divisive in our community. Let's stay together a little bit. So, Paulina, give me something positive going on.
Wow, that was such a beautiful story. I'm just like, whoa. Well, something positive is, I was driving with Brandon somewhere the other day, and he totally pulled over and gave somebody.
Yeah, he's real good about this, and he's inspired me a little bit on this way too. There's so much you can do. It seems like I said, it can be a mountain if you just think about it all the time.
Yeah.
But just take a small step towards doing something positive, and you'll start to open up doors and avenues, and you'll start to see a way around that. Just like you talked about, Jason. I mean, it starts with taking the initiative to start. You have to do something first before it'll happen.
Totally. And I just also, this man right here is so positive. I'm so touched by what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now I know, like, everyone that's drinking K-Cups, we want your K-Cups.
That's right. Where else can we put those totes?
People would just put them in their kitchens, but the main bulk of the pods themselves come from the businesses, depending on the employee count and how many cups.
So if there was a listener out there who had a business or thought, I want to do this, what's the next step?
They want to do this, just go ahead and shoot me an email at justmovej@gmail.com, or jump on Facebook, facebook.com/justmove, the letter J. And just reach out to me and let's kick this thing off.
I love the K-Cup thing, as Paulina was saying, how massive the problem is out there. Are there any other ones that I don't see out there that people are obviously wasting a material that could be used in a positive way?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, what's great about the eventual tile construction is that it will encompass all plastic. And so not only will I be recycling K-Cups, I will be recycling all plastics, because a lot of my plastics contains certain carcinogens and things that they cannot use in reusable, recyclable products. So the main thing is to come up with products that can be reused, that are not toxic or harmful to our population.
Mm-hmm. So how did you come to this knowledge of plastics? It took a little bit of a science to it.
It did. It took me a while to research why the plastic from the K-Pod is not recyclable. It took me a while to understand you have to separate the foil. So inside of the pods, there's a little cloth pouch and the foil on top of the pod. and the entire pod itself is not recyclable. So even if you separate it like they say, so Green Mountain is the producer of the Keurig, and Green Mountain's basically set out an apology. They were sorry for creating the K-Cup because it's not recyclable, and they didn't understand the
at the time of creation.
At the time. And so by 2020, they've released this press release that they're going to take out the polypropylene ingredient, which is a plastic number 7, I believe, and replace it with a plastic number 5. And this is their big push by 2020. The problem with that is plastic number 5 is not accepted in many recycling programs.
So you're talking about the digit you see on the bottom of a plastic container that kind of labels it?
Yes. And most plastic is made up of several different types of ingredients. Like your main plastics have BPAs in them, and BPAs are a harmful agent that get into the drinking water and are known to mess with the endocrine system in different aspects of your body. And so the plastic that's seeping into the ground level drinking water is it's brutal, and we're not even on a full spectrum of understanding what the repercussions are from this.
I was going to say, that's the real problem, is that we're burying stuff and putting it in the ocean before we know what the end game is. So we really don't know what we're doing in terms of the negative effects that could be coming.
Yeah, that's correct, man. And, this K-Cup situation is not just a Florida, not just a America, not just a North America, but a global problem. I mean, Keurig is global. It's in I think 36% of homes in America own a Keurig machine. 36%.
And I'm sure that Keurig's been alerted to this issue. And have they taken a stand? Do you know? Do you ever get a response from them?
I haven't reached out to them personally. I thought about it. I filled out my Shark Tank application. My main goal here is to look for some partners and investors to purchase the equipment to make the construction tile and to get a warehouse for the separation, so I don't got to do it at my home.
If we were able to set up and create the tile here locally, then you'd be able to take our local plastic. You'd be able to, you know what I mean? You'd have that local impact all the way around.
Yeah, exactly. I could set up a facility in Clearwater or Palm Harbor, Tampa, and just start raking in plastic from all over the planet, basically, or all over Florida, Central Florida, Pinellas. And eventually my goals are to go global. As I mentioned before, I lived in Europe for 5 years. So after visiting 17 countries and living in 2 of them, my global network expands to London, China, Germany is where I went to college. And then I lived in Croatia for 2 years.
Compare some of those locations with the United States in terms of their feelings about recycling and the environment. Where do you think they are?
They actually are way ahead of us in that aspect because of the regulatory systems. There's so much red tape to get by before you launch a product, say in Germany, out to the public. A lot of times they catch issues like this, but unfortunately they didn't catch the K-Cup, and they're all over Germany.
Right.
So it's a big issue, and people aren't really taking it serious enough. And as you had mentioned before, I think that was a good, a good thing to mention, is that people just really don't do anything about it. They just brush it off. It's a pod, trash, trash, trash. But, I drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day myself.
Yeah.
So just do
you can
the math.
imagine the volume. Absolutely. And that's the other thing, as I mentioned, it seems like a mountain. What can I do? Just one person. How am I ever going to stop the tide of all this that's going on? Well, you got to start. That's the way to do it. You got to start, right?
It is. I mean, just like if you see the compounding interest of 1 penny saved per day over 10 years is like $30 million, so
step by step,
3K pods per, it's just an interesting concept that people really put in a subconscious forefront, and until people really bring it into reality and understand that just that one pod and that one step, it's kind of like with my alcoholism. It wasn't the 400th beer I would drink of the night. It was the first. And so if we can all take that concept with the pods and just get the first one out of the way, it's a snowball effect.
It becomes a habit, and then you start to, you recycle by nature, and the whole thing will become a pattern, and we'll make a dent in this thing. Paulina, anything before we wrap up here that I forgot to mention about upcoming events or any marketing stuff, any social media things you want to hit up?
No, definitely just look out for our BYOB event, Be Your Own Brand. And personally, I just want to say I would love to come and make a video of you to show us how you do all this, because I am so intrigued. I need to understand.
All right, so we're building your network here as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Paulina's a networking expert.
I feel like you should just make a bunch of people ambassadors, teach them how it's done, and tell them to spread the word.
I was thinking about developing an app, kind of like Uber. So I'm in talks with some friends of mine to where I can just set up an app in different cities and teach my techniques of making the products, and anyone can go ahead and set up their own business through collecting K-cups and plastic.
That'll do
That's
it, boy.
perfect, because
Awesome.
I know a guy that makes apps.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on the Consumer Quarterback Show today. As you heard, we've had some great information, and that's the whole idea behind the show. You know, Brandon wants you to commit a random act of kindness. Just think if everybody did something out there and paid it forward. You know, we have the ability to make a big change by taking a small change, each one of us. So again, Brandon does a great job with that, and that's the theme of the show. So please consider committing a random act of kindness, and check us out online at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.